Hey y'all, I just stumbled upon tatting about a week ago, and I'm really enjoying it, and a few of you have said that you wanted to learn how to do it, so I figured I'd make a quick tutorial on how to tat. Before I do, I figured I need to tell you the equipment that you'll need to do your projects. We'll start with a needle called a tatting needle. The difference between this type of a needle and a regular, say, upholstery needle is that the width of the needle at the point is the same as the width at the needle at the eye. So when you're working with your thread and you pull it off your needle, it all stays the same size. So you'll need your tatting needle, and you can pick this up probably at any craft store or online. Then you will need your cotton thread, which looks like this. The size of the thread will depend upon the project that you're doing, the type of project that you're doing. I usually use size 5 or 10. It's a little bit of a thinner thread. For this project, I will use a size 3 because I want you to be able to see the stitches. Then you will need beads if you are doing jewelry, and you can pick these up at any craft store for pretty cheap. I went to Joann Fabrics the other day and found that beads were 50% off, and almost went crazy buying out all the beads. My husband was very thankful that I didn't follow through buying them all out. Craft stores can be a dangerous place for a lady. It's like going into a Home Depot for a man. You can get lost in there and live in there. Next, you'll need hardware if you're going to be doing jewelry. Like for this, this is hooks for earrings. I'm not going to show you how to do that in this tutorial, but you'll need them for other projects. You'll need your scissors, handy dandy scissors, and your handy dandy needle threader. I can tell you for a fact that this is a standard needle threader, and for doing tatting it's pretty much junk because the wire used on the needle threader is very short, and when you go to put it through a bead and pull the thread through, a lot of times the wire will come right out of the threader. And I'm telling you this from experience because I have gone through many of these and they're junk. So don't waste your time. I did find a really awesome needle threader at Joann Fabrics. The cool thing about this is it looks like a needle. It has a really large eye, and it can go through any size bead or eye of a needle because the eye of the threader actually collapses as you're pulling it through. I haven't yet broken one of these, so these are awesome. I got this at Joann Fabrics. It is by Venus Needles, and it is called the Bead Buddy. Very nifty. You're definitely going to need it. Another thing you will need if you're making jewelry is fabric stiffener. And I've seen in a couple tutorials where Elmer's glue and water will work as well, and they're probably cheaper, but I picked up some fabric stiffener. And then I'm just going to show you there's another kind of tatting. This is needle tatting that I'm going to show you today, but there's another kind of tatting called shuttle tatting, and these are what a shuttle looks like. And I can tell you that shuttle tatting has a learning curve that is much harder than needle tatting, so I'm going to show you needle tatting in this tutorial. I may show shuttle tatting in another one. The difference between needle tatting and shuttle tatting is that the stitch for needle tatting is as big as your needle. The stitch for shuttle tatting is as big as your thread. So you have a tighter, more firm stitch with shuttle tatting than you do with needle tatting, but both of them are beautiful either way. The one with shuttle tatting is probably more durable if you have to wash it. Like if you were doing a tablecloth or a doily, you might want to use the shuttles for that. For my particular project today, I'm just going to use the needle. And then the final thing that you'll need is a cookie to get you through the project. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to have the cookie though for moral support. It's by my side. Okay, to show you how to start tatting, we need to first thread our needle. So I'm going to take my handy dandy needle threader, put it through the eye of my needle, like so, and then put my thread through the eye of the threader, and then just pull the threader right through the needle, and there you have it. Nice and quick. When you're doing needle tatting, you're going to need to leave a long tail. The length of the tail will depend upon the project. For this particular project, it's going to be small, so I'm just going to have maybe a few inches, maybe about a foot. And then what I want to do is I want to leave like a loop here. I'm going to use this loop for part of my project, and you'll see in a second. In needle tatting, or in any tatting, tatting is made up of rings and chains. The rings and chains are made up of stitches called double stitches and picots. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do a double stitch. With a double stitch, I just wrap it around my thumb, wrap my thread around my thumb, and I put my needle through under the thread like this, pull it off my thumb, and pull it tight on my needle. Just my camera. Like this. That's the first part of the double stitch. Second part of the double stitch, I just wrap it around my pointer finger, pull my pointer finger towards me, and put the needle under the thread, pull it off, and pull it tight. And there I've made my first double stitch, as you can see. It's a double stitch. So now for this particular ring, I'm going to do 4 double stitches, a picot, and 4 more double stitches. And I'll show you what a picot is as soon as I'm done with the double stitches. So let's do 3 more double stitches. And it's through my thumb, over my pointer finger, and off like that, and that's 2 double stitches. So over my thumb and over my pointer finger. That's 3 double stitches. Thumb and pointer finger. And there I have 4 double stitches. Now I'm going to do a picot, and all a picot is a space, and this space will create a loop in your thread. The size of the picot can be anywhere. You use your finger to make the picot, so it can be anywhere to where you put your finger. So I can make a really large picot by putting my pointer finger way out, or I can make a really small picot by putting it right next to where my last stitch is. I'm going to make a medium-sized picot. This picot is going to be used for a hook for an earring. It'll leave a loop for a hook for an earring. A lot of picots are just used for joining or for decoration, but this one's going to be used for a hook. Okay, so to complete your picot, you're just going to do a double stitch. Keep your pointer finger on the needle, start your double stitch over your thumb, bring it right up to your pointer finger. See, you're creating a loop. And you want to lock it in place by finishing your double stitch. And see, I made my double stitch, and then all I need to do, because it's locked in place, I can pull my picot right in, and there I have my picot, my little loop. Okay, so now I have 4 double stitches, a picot, and 1 double stitch. I need 3 more to finish this ring. So 3 more double stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, and that gives me 4 total double stitches. So 4 double stitches, a picot, and 4 more double stitches. Now what I want to do, I want to form my ring. So I have this loop here that I created that's near my tail. I want to pinch my work and slowly pull my needle through, pushing my work towards the tail. And then I'm going to pull the tail of the thread through, holding open that loop that I created so I can push my needle through that loop. Then I'm going to let go of the loop and finish pulling the thread through. It's going to close my ring, if you can see that. And you just want to pull it tight, as tight as can be, and that makes your first ring. And as you can see, there's my picot that's going to hold my hook. But your ring is not complete. What you want to do is you want to reverse your work, and all that means is just flip it over. And as you flip it over, your threads will cross like this. You're going to run your needle from the back to the front between those threads to form a knot. That will secure your work. And just pull it tight. Now there's your first ring. For your second ring, you're going to put your needle to your work. Then you have this thread that goes to your ball on this side, and the thread that goes to your tail on this side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little bit larger of a ring because I want it to be an earring. So I'm going to create something called a split ring. A split ring will form on both sides of the needle so that it makes a ring that is perfectly centered and will dangle. But I'll show you how to do that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this ring larger. So I'm going to do 4 double stitches, a picot, 4 more double stitches, and I'm going to do that on both sides, but I'll show you. Let's do our first 4 double stitches. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my first set of double stitches. Now I'm going to make a picot, which is a space, and I'm just doing this for decoration. You could put beads in there if you wanted to, and I can show you that in another video. I'm not going to do that in this one. Lock that picot in place with a double stitch, pull it in, 3 more double stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm actually going to throw in another picot just for the look of it. So just another space there, closed off with a double stitch like that. So there's 2 picots. Now again, I told you I'm going to make a split ring, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thread that's threaded through my needle on my tail side and pull it out, and I'm going to flip my needle over so I'm actually working on the side with the eye of the needle, if you can see that, and I'm going to do the same thing that I just did on the other side. I'm going to do 4 double stitches, a picot, and 4 more double stitches, or 3 more double stitches, because I have one that was formed in my second picot, and I want an even number on both sides. So we're going to do 4 double stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 double stitches. Now I'm going to make a picot. That space, leave that space in there with your finger. Close it off with a double stitch. And we need 3 more, actually 2 more double stitches here. There's 1, 2, 3, 1 more, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I have that'll work. What I need to do is close this off, so in order to do that, I'm going to flip my work back over. I'm going to re-thread my thread through the eye. Leaving that little loop. Okay, now what I want to do is the same thing that I did with the first ring. I'm going to pinch my work and push it towards the end of my needle and pull through like so. Make sure you hold on to that loop, don't lose that loop, and put your needle through to be able to close your ring. Pull your thread all the way through and tighten it, and then you're going to reverse your work and make a knot, and there you have two rings. With your little picots sticking out for decoration. And what I would do is just if I'm finishing my work, say I'm going to call that the earring, I'm just going to make another knot there for good measure. And then what I want to do, because I don't want to keep that thread hanging, I'm just going to push my needle through my ring a little bit to hide that thread. Pull that thread through, and then I'm just going to cut the thread and clip it. And then I'm going to take the side of the thread that is attached to my ball and cut it, and I have to work that in as well. So what I'm going to do is just put my needle through a couple of the stitches that are closest to hide this thread. Pull it almost all the way through, thread the needle, like so, and then pull that thread right through. A little bit of my thread is showing from the other side. I'm going to clip that off. And I'm just going to clip it. Being careful not to clip the thread in my project. And there you have it. That would make it a little tiny earring that you could put a hook on. After you had stiffened it with your fabric stiffener. It's nice and dangly. And that's pretty much it for tatting. I didn't show you a chain, but a chain is done very similarly to a ring. I'll show you that in another video. And there you have it.